Debsarkar is a geopolitical analyst and is best known for his book, The Last Raja of West Pakistan. And he joins us live here in the studio. Priyajit, thank you very much for coming in to talk to us. Let me start by asking how hopeful you are that this election will bring the change needed in Bangladesh.
Thank you very much. So I'm quite hopeful that any democratic dispensation is good, especially for the subcontinent and beyond. But when it comes to real change, I am a bit skeptical. The reason being what used to be called the Battle of Begums, where we had the two lady ex-prime ministers, has now turned into the Battle of the Rahmans. And in this election, even though it has been fair and quite publicized, however, there is an inclusive void as the Awami League has not been allowed to contest. It is suspended. So I think change will come, definitely, but probably not as expected by the revolution in the Zenzi, which happened in 2024.
As we heard there from Mohammed, it would appear that the BNP are in the lead as things stand. What's your opinion on what we can expect from the two parties, whichever way it may swing? Talk to us a bit about the two parties and their leaders.
So, yeah, that's very... so with the two parties now, we can probably assume that the BNP and Mr. Rahman will form the new government. So I think the choice the voters had was between, as I've written before, it is between the ditch and the deep blue sea. Now, the BNP has governed Bangladesh before. They have been in power. They are a political organization. They know how to run a party. So I think the choice was that, do we go with a safer bet, or do we try this new formation of the students and the Jamaat-e-Islami, and then we will hope for the best. So I think the voters indicate that they have gone with the safer option, and as your ground report suggests, that probably BNP is taking the lead. And I think there is a significant question here to be raised is, if the student uprising and the Jamaat, after they formed the alliance, if they were so successful within 18 months, it seems that the polish is coming off. So the maths is probably not adding up. But of course, we have to still wait for the formal results. These are early trends, but I think that's where we stand, really.
And how significant is this move to coincide a national referendum of sweeping constitutional reforms with the elections? Because it's not usual for Bangladesh. So what are the main changes that we're seeing here?
So I think this is a very significant referendum which has happened, and it depends on this new government if they were to take it up as a whole, because there are key elements to change the democratic and the secular constitution of Bangladesh, because Bangladesh is predominantly a Muslim country, but we have to remember that there are quite an inclusive society, the Bengali society as a whole, and we have got other religions like the Hindus, Buddhists, Christians, members of the Ahmadiyya community, the third gender, LGBT. So it depends really as to how Mr. Rahman, if he were to take the reins of power, how he would implement this referendum, and if he didn't get enough seats or a sweeping majority, there might be some adjustment. But again, early trends shows that I think they will comfortably cross the halfway mark. Yeah.
As we were discussing, for many, this was their first vote. These were elections brought about by the student uprising. So how central to this democratic transition were they? Presumably almost entirely. Do you think that they will be satisfied with the outcome of this election and what happens next?
So I think I recently heard the Jamaat Amir, he has made a public statement saying that they will accept the verdict. So even though the students might be a bit depressed, but again, we have to add the caveat, it is still early days. If their party, the NCP or the Jamaat-e-Islami, fail to live up to their expectation, I think they will have to accept the mandate of the people and rely on this new government to come in. And realistically speaking, they need to put Bangladesh back on the track, because on the last 18 months, Bangladesh has slipped quite a lot, in my opinion. And it is a very uphill task for whichever party which comes to power to regain those, glories as they used to enjoy.
And let's talk about the Jamaat-e-Islami party in a little bit more in detail. What does it represent for Bangladesh? Because are there some voters who will have been left disillusioned by this election, as you mentioned before, namely because of not including the Awami League Party? Would it not have been better to have included it in these elections and seen what would have been the outcome from the voting?
It's very true. And I think this election, normally in Bangladesh, you will have a 3 or 4 horse race. You got the Jatiya Party again, another national party who has a significant vote share. But Jamaat-e-Islam has a committed core vote, they have this vote bank, as you may say, or supporters. But I think one of the reasons, in my opinion, this might not have worked out is that the students was trying to bring in a fresh breath of air in politics. There was Gen Z, they had a new vision for a different, like a vibrant Bangladesh. But when they associated with the Jamaat-e-Islami, because you have to remember the Jamaat-e-Islami has a lot of baggage from the 1971 liberation war. And they are seen still by a significant population. And if this results holds, that I think the people still view them with a lot of suspicion. So the student party, along with Jamaat-e-Islami, I think the formula quite did not work. And we also have to remember there were recent statements about women, very profound comments by the Jamaat-e-Islami, the mayor of that party, about women's working, the freedom of movement. And I think the woman makes a very significant demographic structure in Bangladesh and in Bengali society. So I think that also might have dented their chances.
And have you been struck by the notable lack of women taking part, especially in a country looking for change?
Yes. So the NCP, the student party, out of their 30 seats they are contesting, they only fielded 2. The Jamaat-e-Islami is 0. So I think this is where I think they must have got their strategies wrong. And I give full credit to the other party who have actually done their homework, and it seems that they're on the verge of victory. But again, it's early days, but I think they're almost there.
Priyajit, really appreciate your time and your thoughts. Thank you very much for coming in to talk to us.
Thank you.